Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Faculty Thought Leadership Series sponsored by the University of Hawaii Professional Assembly, or UPA, our faculty union. We've got the leadership team from UPA here today to have a conversation with you guys, to talk about how we can make UH a better place to teach, research, and serve the community. My name is Nani Azman. I teach at UH Maui College. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Directors. To my right, I have Dr. David Duffy, our President of the Board from UH Manoa. Next to him is Sharon Rowe, our Vice President from FTLS Community College. And we've got Bob Cooney, our Treasurer from UH Manoa. And you guys all recognize Joel over here. He's our local speaker, board member. I miss him. To help us with the conversation today. So I'm going to, we also have our Chief Technology Officer, Peter King.
Morning. Thank you for showing up, and I'm looking forward to a conversation with you all. The reason we're here is that UPA traditionally has done two things. The first one is negotiate the contract, and that's pretty complicated. It's dealing with the administration, but at the table, there's also the governor and the Board of Regents, and they don't always have the same perspective on contracts. And then once we get a contract, it has to be funded. So we also have to work with the legislature. So that's been a big part of UPA. And then the second has been enforcing the contract. A lot of administrators are pretty good. They actually read it. There are some who don't see anything to read it, and they're naughty. And so we have a marvelous staff that deals with this. But the world is changing, and it's sort of like Koki arriving from outside. Things that, I hope you don't like Koki, but if you do, apologize. Anyway, there are things that forces from outside that are arriving. Some of them have reached our shores, some of them are still to come, or their worst impact is coming. Way back when, after World War II, we had the returning GIs, and we looked at education, as a country, we looked at education as a common good, that we wanted these people to get educated because they would do good things for their communities and their country. And it worked really, really well. But then, more recently, we've gotten to the habit of thinking it's not so much a common good, it's a personal service. You're purchasing something. And this has opened up a string of problems that continue to this day and are getting worse. With this idea, there's been declining state revenue. Also, there's been economic difficulties for states, but there's this attitude that students should pay their own way. And this has led to a couple of things. As the state support has gone down, really, it's sort of gravity or reverse gravity, tuition has to go up. And there's only so much it can go up with families. And in order to survive, kids then start borrowing money. And they're borrowing, or their parents are borrowing. And actually, Hawaii's in pretty good shape, in a horrible way. We're the second lowest debt on graduation for our students. We're only $14,000. Vermont, anyway. And so this has it's not just the students, but it's the whole economy. You have students and they're young, they're out of college, they want to do things, take risks. No, they're going to be at Starbucks with a steady job, repaying their loans, perhaps forever. So they're not out there buying cars, starting families, buying houses, starting businesses. They're at Starbucks or wherever. So that's a cost to our society, and but it also is sort of insidious in terms of the university, because the students, logically, from their point of view, think, oh, I'm not here as much to get an education, I'm here to get a return on my investment. So if I'm going to have a loan, I need to pay it off, so what are the best jobs? So even if I wanted to be an English major or an artist, I'm going to become a business major. Nothing against business majors, but this is hard on the artists and the teachers. So we're seeing more return on investment. Universities and colleges get ranked on that. We're seeing us being run more and more as a business. How fast can you graduate students? How many of them can you graduate? that turns around and faculty who are tough graders or not traditional, but community college has taken on the chin because a lot of the kids are not there for a sort of pre-4-year. They're there to get particular courses. And so if we start evaluating universities, colleges, community colleges, we look bad. And so there's all this sort of trickle down of bad stuff. Then there are people who want to make money off of universities. And in the past, it was, you didn't go into universities to make money. At least, hope none of you did. Or you're a lot smarter than me. But anyway, we have, I always mispronounce it, but the massive online...
Open online courses.
MOOCs. Moo, okay. So they're trying to milk the system. I'll try to remember it that way. And basically the perfect MOOC would be one faculty member, one place, teaching all the students in the world. And then the degrees would either be sold by a couple places, probably private firms, and it's turning out they're failures because you need highly motivated people and there's really not the community to service. But people will be back. They're going to try to find a way to make a profit off of the universities. And in a way, we have a cash crunch, so what are we going to do? We're moving, especially on the mainland, but here also, to non-tenure track faculty. They're cheap, they're disposable, they don't have a future, and from an economic point of view, that's great. From a university or college point of view, they're there to teach, and they are very altruistic if they spend more than 5 minutes after their class. They're not going to be involved in curriculum development, looking at how a department's running. They can't afford to do that. And so with fewer and fewer faculty are doing more and more of this stuff. But there's a solution. We'll hire administrators to do it for you. And so gradually we've been seeing more and more administrators, deanlets is a word I've learned, they're reproducing. And they will take over your curriculum for you and figure out whether you're doing a good job. And it's just more and more efficient, except that they cost more. And so when we look nationally at some of the universities, we haven't looked here, but you'll see that faculty are increasing like this, more or less as the students do, but the administrators are up like this. And since they cost more and you have a set amount of money, you're going to need to cut on faculty, you're going to need to have MOOCs and short-term faculty, and basically you're getting away from teaching, you're running a university for administration, not for teaching. So all this is happening. I think I may have left out some of the good parts, but I'm sure I've cheated. Oh, and then, sorry. When you get administrators, it used to be they came out of faculty. They sort of came off the bench, served for a couple of years, often at the end of their careers to get a high 3, or they went back to teaching. So if you're going back to teaching, you're not going to ruin things for yourself. You've got a vested interest that what you go back to hasn't been ruined. So now we have sort of and it hasn't hit the islands as much, except Manoa, perhaps. We have sort of this wandering group of administrators who don't last more than 3 or 4 years at a place. And this can be deans to presidents, particularly presidents. We got a bad case with a lot of our deans. But they're there, and as soon as they arrive, they're looking for the next job. They're not interested in continuity. They have no institutional knowledge. They don't listen. So what things are actually working here, what things aren't working? As a dean, I'm not interested. I'm going to come up with a bold new initiative, because that's what I'm going to use to get my next job with. And I'm going to start a program. It may not have any resources, and it may fold in 4 years, but I'm leading it for. So no sweat. You guys will pick up the pieces. It's the Dobell plan. We have all these things coming together, and some of them are here, and maybe some of them we can keep from really getting established. I work on invasive species, so the Coquille thing comes out of that. we're having a special on little firemen this week. So it's like, you know, there are a lot of good species that show up here, most of what we eat, but there are a lot of things that we don't really need, and we need to figure out as a union, and basically the union, well, the union is you all, what we can do about it. What are the real problems? I've listed a litany, but each campus has different emphases, different problems. So we're really here, this is the start of a dialogue. We're going to be trying to do this annually, continually. So we keep getting from you guys what's important, what the problems are.